Hello, dear traders. Welcome back. It's Monday morning today. FundYourFX.com partnered up with Bulletproof Traders, giving you this exclusive Forex market portfolio breakdown. And without any further ado, let's go right ahead, dive in. We have 3 active positions in the market for a few days now. Pulled the trigger before the weekend. And I want to talk about the situation here that we have with these positions and give you a bit of an overview and share a little bit about our in-house trading activities. We started off with the dollar Swiss franc, which we talked about last week. We actually gave you a heads up on this one, and basically we talked about the situation before we pulled the trigger. Eventually, the breakdown started to kick into higher gear, and obviously we jumped into position. We already managed to take some profit off the table. With that deep that we had here yesterday, we took about a third of the position out, but the position is still quite big, still going for us. We have price action coming a little bit up today. But the head and shoulders pattern that we talked about the other day seems to be activated, right? Price action kind of broke that neckline and started to march downwards. From the weekly perspective, we really like the situation, the technical situation here, because price action gave us that breakdown confirmation when it went up last week. But just before the end of the week, it was rushing in to pull back down and to close negatively and below our main key level resistance. Well, now it is a resistance, but it was support back then, 88.22, 0.8822. So the fact that price action was kind of filling it out, testing it with that spike, but got that rejection is a good sign that this downside reversal is legit, which is why we're keeping this position alive. Before we get more aggressive, we want to see more proof the price action is indeed on the back foot. I do see an obstacle not too far ahead at 87.15 and then another one at 86.73. So these are the obstacles that we have in front of us in the near future. Once price action secure a breakdown, we'll get a lot more aggressive than this, right? So far, we're kind of testing the water, so to speak. This is really early stages of this potential move. At the end of the day, we're talking about a move of 300 pip to 85.06. The next one is the Aussie, also known as Australian dollar versus the New Zealand dollar. Here we had a nice drop according to our estimation, right? Because we started off when price action was starting to turn around right here on the top, sliding below 111.02. That's where we started to get interested in this bearish looking situation. And we feel like price action that up until now managed to score higher highs, right? Every time higher high, even the last one, slightly higher than the one before. I feel like this could end up as a full-fledged downside reversal, where price action is going to go back to where it came from. We're talking about the levels of 107 roughly, although our official profit target is at 107.94. That's the big key level support that sits right here at 107.94. Now, we already pulled the trigger twice, and price action is coming up today pretty strong and is right between our 2 trades. Right? The first one that we initiated is still in profit. The second one, however, it just turned into a losing trade right now as price action is hammering today. Nevertheless, we're not intimidated by this surge of upside momentum today. I think this is kind of typical, almost I would say even expected, given the fact that ever since November 22, price action is coming from the highs of 111.79, right? 111.79. Ever since then, we didn't have any technical correction. So yeah, doesn't surprise me at all to see a bit of a backlash to that move coming from the highs of, like I said, 111.79. I do believe price action will resume the original downside move eventually. Obviously, right now, it hit a massive support area, right? It's not just 109.41, but it's also 109.56. So a lot of support is coming in at that level, but I don't think price action will turn around completely. We'll just take a bit of a break or a long breath before it's coming back at that area with a second attempt to crack that support area and keep moving south. This is how it looks like from the weekly perspective, and that's how it looks from the monthly perspective. From the monthly perspective, the big picture situation, we talked about that trading range that's running back all the way to December 2022. And ever since then, we've had that back and forth exchange. Price action now is coming off the top, and I feel like there's one more leg in the pipeline, one more downside leg back to 106.15 in the pipeline. So we'll see how it goes. Last but not least is the Canadian-Japanese yen that's also hammering up today right off the bat. A lot of positive momentum. And we do have two trades here as well, very similar to the situation with the Australian dollar versus the New Zealand dollar. Price action was right between our two trades. The first one we fired off when price action came back up to retest 107.30 from the bottom. And yeah, it made contact twice, even 3 times in a row, back to back. These 3 spikes, made sure it's a solid resistance, and then big downside push, right? So at that point, we fired off the first trade, and as price action was gaining that negative momentum, we fired off the second trade. That was back in last Friday. So we feel the same about the situation here as we do on the situation with the Aussie-Nosy. Price action is coming up as a form of technical correction. I do believe it will resume the original downside trend. So a lot to look forward with regards to the Canadian-Japanese yen. One more thing I want to show is the weekly chart, because here we had a definite breakdown coming from with the weekly close confirmation. That was a couple of weeks ago. Price action definitely closed below that 107.30. Last week it even gave us that confirmation when it rushed back up to challenge that 107.30, spiked it a little bit, and right off that point it basically jumped back downward. It bounced off. So clearly there's a strong resistance level lying right here at 107.30, and we're definitely relying on that key level resistance to hold and to push price action again on the downside. Interesting situation, no doubt. We'll come back to this. We'll follow up. We'll keep you posted. We're going to be back tomorrow, same time, same place. Take care.